The rain had fallen all through the night over the little village of Umumba. By morning, the earth smelled fresh, the mango leaves glittered with water, and a cool mist floated gently across the hills behind the church. It was Easter Sunday. From every compound, villagers dressed in their best clothes walked towards the small white church at the center of the village. Women wear colorful wrappers and headscarves. Men carried old Bibles under their arms. Children ran ahead laughing, their sandals kicking dust from the narrow path. The church bell rang slowly. Bong, bong. Inside the church, candles flickered near the wooden altar. The choir rehearsed softly while people settled onto long wooden benches. Among them sat a widow named Mama Nkem and her little son Chidi. Chidi was only 7 years old. He was a quiet boy with bright eyes and a strange habit of staring into the sky as if he could see things other people could not. Some villagers said the boy daydreamed too much. Others said he was simply different, but Mama Nkem loved him deeply. After Chidi's father died from sickness 2 years earlier, the boy had become her only comfort. Though they were poor, she taught him to pray every night. God listened to children. We always whisper before they slept. That Easter morning, the church became packed. The pastor, Pastor Elijah, stepped forward wearing a white robe. Today, he announced joyfully, we celebrate the resurrection of Christ. Death could not hold him. Amen, the congregation shouted. The choir began singing powerful hymns. Drums echoed softly, hands lifted in worship. Some people cried as they prayed. Then Pastor Elijah asked everyone to kneel for a moment of silent prayer. The church became completely quiet. Even the restless children stopped moving. Only the sound of rainwater dripping from the roof could be heard. Mama Nkem bowed her head. Lord, she whispered, provide for us, protect my son. Beside her, little Chidi closed his eyes. At first, everything was silent, then suddenly, Chidi smiled. A moment later, he began to laugh, not a mocking laugh, a joyful laugh, a laugh filled with wonder. Hehehehe. The sound echoed loudly inside the silent church. Several people opened their eyes angrily. One woman hissed, whose child is that? Another muttered, can he behave himself in church? Mama Nkem quickly grabbed his hand. Chidi, she whispered sharply, be quiet. But the boy kept staring upward. His eyes were wide with amazement. Then he spoke softly. Can't you hear them? The church froze. Pastor Elijah slowly looked at the child. Hear who? He asked carefully. The people singing. Chidi replied innocently. They are above the church. Rumors spread across the congregation. Some frowned. Some looked nervous. Others thought the boy was joking. But Chidi continued staring at the ceiling as if listening carefully. They are wearing bright clothes, he whispers, and the light around them is shining. A cold breeze suddenly swept through the church. The candle flickered widely. Several people exchanged frightening glances. What song are they singing? Pastor Elijah asked quietly. Chidi listened for a moment. Then he softly began humming a melody nobody in the church had ever heard before. It was beautiful, gentle, peaceful. The strange melody flowed through the building like wind through trees. And something unexpected happened. The choir members slowly joined in. Nobody knew how. It was as if the tune entered their heart naturally. One by one, voices rose across the church. The entire congregation began singing the mysterious song together. Some people started weeping, others trembled. A heavy feeling of peace filled the room. Even Pastor Elijah could not continue the service for several minutes. When the song finally ended, silence covered the church once more. Chidi blinked, then he looked around, confused. They stopped singing, he said softly. After the service, the entire village buzzed with discussion. Some believed the boy had truly heard angels. Others dismissed it as a childish imagination. Near the village well, old women argued passionately. I tell you that child saw something holy. Nonsense. Another replied. Children invent stories. But what about the song? Someone asked quietly. How did we all know it? Nobody had an answer. That evening, dark cloud gathered again over Omupa. The villagers returned to their homes carrying strange thoughts in their hearts. Mama and Kim cooked a small meal of yam and soup while Chidi sat outside watching fireflies. Did I do something wrong in church? He asked softly. His mother sat beside him. No, she answered it carefully. But tell me the truth. What did you really hear? Chidi looked towards the dark sky. It sounded happy, he said, like many voices singing together. I think they were praising God. Mama Nkem felt goosebumps rise on her skin. That night, the village slept beneath a cool breeze and distant thunder. Then the dreams began. An old fisherman dreamed he stood inside a bright field while invincible voices sang around him. The young woman dreamed of light pouring down into the church roof. Even the even the stubborn village chief dreamed of people in white robes singing the same mysterious melody Chidi had hummed. Across Umpa, people woke before dawn with tears in their eyes, and every single person remembered the same song. By sunrise, fear and wonder spread through the village. People gathered outside their homes discussing the dreams. You too, you heard it also, the same song. Nobody could explain it. That morning, Pastor Elijah rang the church bell earlier than usual. One by one, villagers entered quietly. There was no gossip, no argument, no pride, only relevance, only reverence. The pastor stood before them with trembling hands. In all my years, he confessed, I've never witnessed anything like this. He looked towards little Chidi sitting beside his mother. Sometimes, the pastor continued, God chooses the humble and pure-hearted to remind the world that heaven is near. Tears rolled down Mama Nkem's face. The church began to pray, but this time was different. People prayed sincerely. Men who had not spoken to each other for years embraced. Women who carried bitterness forgave one another. Young people knelt crying before God. Even children prayed quietly. And as the congregation worshiped, a gentle wind moved through the church once more. Soft, peaceful, beautiful. Some villagers later claimed they had faint singing carried in the breeze. Others said they saw light above the roof for only a moment, but nobody doubted again. From that Easter onward, the people of Mugwa prayed with deeper faith. The church became known as a place of peace. Travelers came from distant villages just to worship there. And whenever people asked about the miracle, Pastor Elijah would smile and point towards Chidi. The child only heard what heaven sang. Every day he would say, years later, when Chidi became a grown man, he barely spoke about that Easter morning. But the villagers never forgot, because on one quiet Easter Sunday, a child laughed during prayer and reminded an entire village that faith can hear what proud hearts often miss. Faith sometimes reveals things only the pure-hearted can hear.